Good morning,
Vietnam.
Good morning,
Wow.
Vietnam. I'm Mayer Dallal, your host of the Money Matrix podcast, where smart money finds we have with us
Jason Mantione, sidekick.
and
Alan Hastings, excited California.
excited Californian. Today we're excited.
Always.
All right. So on today's hotbed of topics, we are talking about the jobs numbers that just came out. We're talking about some tariff-related news and inflation and see what's going on. And then if we can get into the trade deals and what's happening, I think that'll be most of the time that we'll have with this. So let's jump right into it. Jobs are up, wages are up, stocks are surging, but the GDP is shrinking. The prices are spiking again, and Donald Trump is basically saying Jerome Powell is a knucklehead, and it's a big problem. We hear it every day going back and forth, but at the end of the day, the Fed is all about data right now. They're all about the numbers and what's going on. We really need to take a deep dive into this because, in my opinion, the July cut is for sure out. I'd be shocked if anything happens. Most people are depending on September and maybe another one in towards the latter part of the year, November or December, depending. But according to this, the economic numbers, the jobs numbers, they're strong. So is it a mixed signal, Alan? Is it the right call, the wrong call? Where are we at?
So the specific job numbers that we saw, June was surprising. The U.S. added 147,000 jobs, which beat forecasts, and unemployment actually fell to 4.1%, which everything is looking, I don't know how best to say this. Basically, people's outlook of the market is rough. However, the stats for employment specifically and wages are good. Wages are actually up 3.7% year over year. So jobs are up and wages are up. Why is everybody freaking out? I think the real thing is
stressflation, Alan. That's the new term.
Yes.
The new term is inflation. Are you experiencing stressflation?
It's interesting you say that because I personally, I'm concerned about the economy and finances, but in my own day-to-day life, my rent recently was raised. My groceries aren't really getting more expensive. The gas prices are not really getting more expensive. I'm not seeing too much, but I have that concern lurking all the time. Is that the same with you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Not for me.
No, I'm definitely, not as really the prices, but I always walk into the grocery store, and I've started doing it a year ago. The first thing I go to is the eggs, and I still do it. I'm always nervous that I'm going to go in and the eggs aren't going to be there. It has nothing to do with whether who's the president or not. I think it's a way bigger picture, and I just get a little nervous with the food. I really do. We basically opened up another membership, and we're shopping at Costco and BJ's. Believe it or not, you get better deals at Costco and BJ's. We are getting away from the local grocery store. Where we are in Florida, it's Publix and Whole Foods. That's really it. Those are your two spots. Both expensive. One has a better quality of food. One has name brand food. So we just definitely have toned down the variety at the house and more quantity at the house, but we don't have 4 or 5 different types of cereals. And this is the truth. We have Cheerios and Frosted Flakes. Because to be honest, I get 2 huge boxes of Cheerios at Costco for $7. If I go to Publix, I get a box of regular sized Cheerios for $7.
We don't shop. We shop at Costco, Restaurant Depot, and then a fruits and vegetable store called The Boys. Very rare do we go to Publix. And then my meat is, I get kosher meat. But in general, I go to Costco and I see eggs are gone by midday. If I go late in the day, it's done. I'm not getting the organic eggs. But do I have a sense of worry and stressflation, as they're saying? Definitely kosher meat is expensive to begin with, but it's definitely gone up in price. That's something that we're seeing a major surge. The cost of beef could be a surge as much as 30 to 40%. Now, kosher meat, depending on what you're getting, for steak and ribeye and whatnot, probably $40 a pound. Comparatively speaking to what you would buy, call it in Costco or whatever, is half that, I would imagine. It's more expensive in general. But going back to the numbers, Alan, the jobs numbers came out. We added 147,000 jobs, way more than expected. And where are these jobs coming from? Did it say what sector that's picking up these jobs? Because usually it's like travel and leisure, the government.
Yeah, I can find out.
And that's what really tends to skew the numbers. But I'm curious to see, because on a grand scale, the GDP number still came down, though. So that's sort of mixed message, contradictory to what's going on.
Government looks like it equates to 73,000 jobs. Not all of it was government jobs, about a third, maybe just over a third. But healthcare added 40,000, social assistance up 20,000, little change in construction, manufacturing, retail, transportation, warehousing, professional business service. Most other private industries cut payrolls. It was primarily carried by healthcare, leisure, hospitality, and the government federal jobs.
So those are, I would call them specialized. You're not your general day-to-day employees, business owners. They're feeling the pinch. They're not hiring. They're not doing as much as your larger United Healthcare, Aetna, et cetera, and the travel and leisure and such. But talk to me about the GDP. What's going on with that? And what does this contraction mean? And what are people worried about now?
So you said the GDP contracted by about 0.5% in Q1. The GDP contracting was historic because we haven't had a GDP contraction since Q1 of 2022. That just means our economy is not expanding at the pace of inflation. The value not keeping pace with the increase in costs. So the idea is that recession generally follow a GDP compression. That's why the Fed is being slow to act. I don't think that the Fed is being political. I think that they're trying really hard to balance good jobs numbers and GDP contracting. We have inflation, we have this, we have that. I think that they're being slow on a careful way, not in a political way. That's just my opinion.
What do you think would happen? What do you think would happen if Trump gets Powell and Powell cuts rates, call it 50 basis points, and then you get 100 basis points cut by the end of the year? What do you think will happen?
I think the one thing we have going for us right now is that inflation is actually not out of control, which I'll give that to Trump for sure. Inflation is not super out of control right now. And that was the biggest problem during the end of the Biden term was inflation was climbing and there was all these issues. And so if we had that issue, if inflation then spiraled out of control, that would be the end, right? Because we have other issues, but inflation is solid. It's like the rock holding everything together. If we didn't have that rock, I can't even imagine.
Do you think a 1% cut would spur inflation again?
No, I don't think so.
I think a 1%, yes.
Why do you say no? This is a question I ask a lot of different people, and I'm curious to know why you think no.
Because I don't think it's enough. First of all, it's going to come in two parts, correct?
Typically, yeah.
I think people are they're still scared. I don't think it's really going to do anything. I don't think it's going to make people go forward. I don't think it's going to make people pull back. I just don't think they have enough confidence in it. That's my personal opinion.
A lot of it doesn't directly correlate to the rates, but if you get a 50 or 100 basis point cuts in the Fed funds rate, you're seeing conventional rates be towards the lower sixes and our rates in the higher sixes, which psychologically is a huge factor for people. The home numbers came out recently and showed that the stuff slowed down, the new purchases, new transactions, things of that nature slowed down. But home prices, the median home price is at the highest it's ever been. And a lot of it is a psychological thing because these are contracts that go back a couple of months ago, and that's when rates spiked to over 7%. So immediately things slow down. And do I think it's going to be major inflationary? No, but I think you're going to see a huge surge. And come that surge comes, again, higher prices because they're sellers and they operate on things are getting better. People have money. Okay, I'm going to raise the price. And I think it's going to create this imbalance again of I want more. And home buyers are thinking, I'm in a buyer's market. So it's going to be interesting to see. I don't think it'll be anywhere near 100 basis points, but I'm curious to see what happens. I think definitely, though, the rate cut will happen come.
If I could give my 2 cents on that really quick, I think that what you're saying, it's so logical that the people waiting on the sideline, it's more of an emotional thing than a statistical thing. The actual dollar difference is not going to be as massive as everyone thinks, but the emotional reaction will be. And I think that's what the Fed is scared of. It's not that cutting by 1% is going to statistically cause a problem. It's that if everybody jumps on it thinking this is our chance, that reaction could be the problem. Yeah, I think it's emotional.
Yeah, 100%. Right now, you're on a soccer field or a football field, and Powell's playing defense, and Trump's in the stands yelling, heckling, like the referee, everyone, drop rates to 1%. I don't care what happens, and not even really looking at anything. So Trump wants 1%. Powell's, no way, I'm not doing that. And the world is sitting here waiting to see what happens.
He's that crazy guy with the helmet on.
But the interesting, though, now the tariffs are coming into play again because deals are being cut. Japan's deal is going to be the model for other deals. They're talking about the EU signing. You were talking, Alan, about this earlier. It was something about Walmart prices going viral where certain prices of certain things spiked 51%. What was that?
Yeah, there was this trend going around. A lot of department stores, grocery stores overlay tags on old tags. So people were peeling off the new tags and
Taking, right?
Yeah, price a month ago like $3, right? Now it's $6. So someone actually had a photo of a shrimp, right? A bag of shrimp was $4.98 a couple weeks ago to $9.99 now. That was doubling in price. And
do you think that's price gouging, or do you think
That's the question.
in my opinion, it's price
yes,
gouging?
I would say some of it, yes.
In my opinion, that's price gouging. Costs are up, prices are up, but overall, you have a renowned number of people saying the tariffs are not as bad as we thought. Yet companies are taking advantage and hitting you where it counts. Oh, they're not going to do it to bread, but to someone who can afford shrimp and wants to buy shrimp, if it's $5 or $10 and you're in the mood, you're going to pay $10.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think it's certain companies that are doing it more than others?
Yes, I think so. I think there's something to be said about that, and unfortunate because
we pay the price as the consumer. I think that certain companies want the tariffs to look like they're really bad.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question for that? Do we have a 100% tariff? If shrimps have gone up, shrimp is up 100% in cost, right?
Yeah.
Do we have a 100% tariff on any country right now?
No.
So it can't just be tariffs, right?
I think your larger stores in general have more propensity and can do it, where if they're getting beat up on one side, they'll just jack up other things across the board and call it tariffs.
Yeah.
And they're not going to, in my opinion, they're not going to knock it up on the day-to-day essentials that people really need because people will be in an uproar. But if you do it on 50 or 100 items out of a store of thousands,
specialty stuff, yeah,
that's going to pick up. And I see it. They clearly go after the stuff that's not your average person's going to buy. It's clear when you walk into Publix, certain things that punch you right in the face.
Yep.
It's crazy. But
Yep.
then other things, they keep stable. My kids ask me for ice cream. Sometimes you go in and they're like $9.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm not buying this.
We buy one, get one free on the ice cream.
If
Just so you
it's
know.
Haagen-Dazs, buy one, get one free. Sorry, we're not buying. We're on a diet this week. Do it.
Buy one, get one free, or we're not having it. Get yourself a piece of watermelon.
All right, Alan, what trade?
Good for you.
Yes.
Okay, go.
Do you think that there should be a rule in place that doesn't allow companies to do that? Do you guys think that should be regulated?
You mean the price gouging, the doubling the
Yeah.
price? Yeah, that should be monitored.
You
Absolutely.
can't do that. In theory, it makes sense.
There should be.
A
So,
free
To
economy.
go back to trade
This is
deals.
a free.
Yeah,
This is a
sorry.
free commerce society.
Yeah, but what about the what?
Then
listen,
it's going to be Mamdani, a government-owned, government-controlled everything.
when I lived in New York and there was a hurricane or a storm coming, the gas prices went up. They
Different.
took those gas stations to the cleaners.
Yeah.
Some of them even closed.
That's different because you're actually
Disaster.
you're praying.
Yes.
This is not praying. This
Yeah.
is basically saying someone's willing to pay $10 for a bag of shrimp. I'm okay with it. The essentials, the necessities, you're not going to see that. So what trade deals do we have in place right now so far?
So basically, meanwhile, the markets are doing what the markets do. So everybody's celebrating the short-term wins. I know that you see that in the news.
All the time, yeah.
Everything is like a big to-do with the stock market at the next day. What happened? So it's the short term. So basically, a little bit of information. The Dow jumped 450 points. The S&P 500, which is nearing record highs, and the Nasdaq is climbing. We got a 15%.
This was the Japan trade deal.
Yes, because of the Japan trade deal.
Well, I got some info of what's in the deal. We could talk about it. I got a 15% tariff on Japanese exports. You got a $550 billion in Japanese investment into the U.S.,
Did
which
they
is huge.
specify what they're going to be investing in?
Boeing's cashing in. Japan's buying a fleet of jets.
Boeing's have been doing really well because
They win
they
deals.
keep getting fleets bought.
Boeing's in.
I don't know.
They're like the little guy in the back going, from here.
Alan, did you confirm, does Trump own part of Boeing? Is there any conspiracy theory on that or no?
When are you gonna get him going,
did
right?
You, no, I gotta
That's
say,
immediate.
did you guys see the Boeing whistleblowers when the door blew off the plane? Did you guys ever see this whole thing? Boeing had a bunch of lawsuits against them when that door blew off the plane in midair. Two different, I believe two, maybe it was just one, whistleblowers who were going to testify against Boeing were found dead. I'm not joking. Separate time, separate states, separate places. So whatever you guys say about Boeing, I'm out. I'm not in this conversation. Boeing's a great company. I love them.
I got a little bit more info on
What
it
do
if
you
you want
got?
to say stick with it. NVIDIA also flying with the reported chip deal with AI. So basically, markets love the Japan deal. But
So
under the
that's,
hood,
that's going to be the fundamental basis for everything else.
bottom
that
line,
happens.
we've we've got tariffs, more
Yeah.
tariffs, and talks of even more tariffs on Canada starting August 1st. This is economic brinkmanship. That's basically what I got for you on what's going on. The Japan deal is going to be huge.
Moral of the story.
And Bowen's,
So we have the
Bowen's in
UK
on
and
it.
Japan, right?
Yes.
UK and Japan deals were the big exciting deals. Canada and Mexico, we still have the tariffs on. Are there deals that we foresee in the future,
Well,
short
they
term
said
or long term?
Philippines, Vietnam also signed deals. But listen, I'm sure everyone's going to fall
Nice.
in line at some point because China is the big one that they're still negotiating. Once that pencils, I think that's going to be a big thing.
And I don't think a lot of people realize how much product comes out of Vietnam.
Crazy.
From clothing to electronics, there's a lot that comes out of Vietnam. If you ever get a chance and you want to just Google products that come out of
Wow.
Vietnam, you'll be like, oh my God, really? Yep, a lot of product.
We need the deal.
We need
So,
the deal.
Alan, stressflation is the word of the day.
I think there was a statistic that 83% of Americans are saying the economy's taking a toll on their mental health. And I feel it. I know Jason said he feels it. It's not even a figure that you can point to. It's just the constant worry. What if tomorrow we wake up and every podcast episode, I'm drinking Starbucks? What if they put tariffs on wherever my beans are harvested from? I go to Starbucks, it's 20. It's just a constant worry and just taxing mentally every day to be like, what is the news going to be? Maybe it's just me.
Listen, the truth, at the end of the day, it's going to be what it's going to be, and you got to make the best of it so you don't have Starbucks.
Listen, I'm still paying
Can't do it.
$2.87 a gallon for gas. Gas
We
is
got to get
not gonna-
Starbucks in these tariff deals.
That's what I look at when I fill up. And
Yeah, that's
I'm
key.
still paying a lot less for gas than I was paying. And it's holding at that 287. It's been around 290. Like I'm paying under $3 for gas.
That's great.
I take photos now just so I can record the
so
date and the gas
You
cost.
want to go
and the
viral.
stage.
Alan wants to go viral. All right, guys. Have a great day. God bless. Thank you all so much. Appreciate it.
Many blessings.
Thank you.